Namaskar. Welcome to Ancient Wisdom. Ancient Wisdom looks at active participation for each Varna and each ashram. If it is a Brahmin, he has to do actively, that is personally, puja, mantra, yajna, research, development, studies. These are all to be individually, practically done. If it is a Kshatriya, it is quite clear he has to learn weaponry, be physically fit, understand the nitty-gritties of operation of various yantra, and learn the active art or strategic art of warfare. If it is a trader, he has to learn speech, sweet speech, how to convince people, how to communicate to people. Also, on the other hand, how to choose goods, how to know which goods are good, which goods are not, how to understand which horse is a reliable horse, or the goods which are good in quality and which are not good in quality, which goods have got demand at what place. And then coming to the Shudra has to be well versed in his particular art. Like it could be a blacksmith, he should be able to make weapons well, that is making swords, bows, arrows, as well as horseshoes, long lasting horseshoes, or making wheels for bullock carts. These are the services that a Shudra provides to the society, and he has to be well versed in those by being physically active in those areas. Whereas over a period of time, the practice started of looking down on manual labor or physical work, and a trend developed where somebody who was doing more conceptual, intellectual or abstract work was considered to be at a higher echelon or higher level of society than a person who was doing the same thing physically. The dignity of labor was lost, and I believe this was the point at which the culture started declining, because the physical was being separated from the mental, conceptual or abstract. In actuality, conceptual, abstract or mental has to continuously move into the physical realm, become physical, and from physical take the feedback, and that goes to the mental, and that is how development occurs. A machine that you make sitting in an ivory tower would prove to be useless on the ground level. That is why with the machine you got to be on the ground floor, or you got to be on the actual ground zero, take the feedback, go back to the research area, go back to the lab, make it anew, test it again, take the feedback, improve it over. But that is not what happens, as we see today, that we are quite well separated between the mental and the physical. A lot of our life has become abstract and conceptual because the physical labor itself has reduced. We have cars for transportation, we have lifts to go upstairs, and we have mixers at home to do all kinds of kneading, mixing or cutting. Machines have taken away a lot of physical work. But there is one more thing which is more daunting, which is becoming intellectually inactive. And that is what we will discuss today. Intellectually inactive. The concept, there are two concepts. One is that of a foreman and other is that of a supervisor. Both of them are supposed to deliver results at the end of the day. Foreman is an American concept, supervisor is a European concept or British concept. A foreman is considered to be a person in front, a senior person who is able to guide people, remaining on the forefront and doing work alongside them, and the work gets done at the end of the day. Whereas a supervisor, the person who sits at the top or at the height and gazes or looks at the people doing work and gives them directions from the backbench. That is the British idea or European idea of supervisor. And this is the exact difference, foreman versus supervisor, between active participation and passive participation. So what is the passive participation that we are doing as of today? Watching TV, serials and debates are all passive participations. Why passive? Because we do not question what the news says, what the social media says, what the debates are. We are only mute absorbents. We keep on absorbing, we keep on inculcating, we keep on taking in what is presented to us in an audio-visual, surround sound, surround home format. And this is a big trap, because this is where I believe the decline of the culture begins. We treat it as action, or we treat it as an information that cannot be questioned, nor be researched, and nor do we put down our thoughts on paper. And that is why it becomes a passive participation. But interestingly, I just now gave you 3 methods of countering the passive participation. This is the beauty of ancient wisdom, in which pearls of wisdom are just interspersed with a lot of data or lot of irrelevant information. And these pearls of wisdom we need to be able to catch. So what were those? Try going back in the video and see whether you catch those 3 methods. Otherwise, watch on. The 3 methods of countering passive participation are: 1. Question the logic of the news. Does the news fit in logically with the earlier trend? Try to seek an independent source, reliable source of the same news, and is the same news given in the same tone and same manner? That is method 1. The second method is write down a gist of what you understand from the news, debate or opera. When you are writing down in your own way, you are activating a part of your brain which questions. You cannot write down pages after pages without thinking about those. And the third one is to share your thoughts or thought linkage or the logical conclusion along with the chain that supports it with your friends. This is what would lead to some kind of debate where again you are an active absorbent and you may change your views depending on the information or data or wisdom presented to you. But in all these 3, questioning the logic, writing down the thoughts and sharing your thoughts, you are practical participant, and that is what ancient wisdom advocates, and that is exactly what reduces or stops the intellectual decline and keeps our brain active, and on the other hand we also remain active in conceptual and abstract way. Namaskar.